Hi, my name is Joseph Horton with DJO Global. I'm here today to Inservice your staff and the rest of the floor on how to apply and use the Venaflow Elite for DVT prevention. We'll be rolling these out through the hospital for the next 2 or 3 days. So as we get started here, I want to talk a little about the pump. The pump has a telescoping bed hanger, which will fit most all beds in hospitals now. That's a key problem we heard was pumps are having to be put on the floor, so we made a telescoping bed hanger that would retract about 3.5 inches out, come in to fit the snug of the foot of the bed. Also too, this pump weighs about 4¼ pounds, and it does have a battery, lithium-ion battery that will last conservatively up to 4 to 6 hours. The hospital chose this battery, one, to provide continuous care for all patients who are transported throughout the hospital to different departments. Also too, here we have 3 buttons on the pump: countermeasure, alarm reset, on and off, and your single dual leg application. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the pump on just for time's sake. I'm going to go ahead and get an alarm to start alarming, because if not, we'll be here longer than I really anticipated this in-service to go. So go ahead and cut the alarm on, and as the pump starts running, I'm going to go ahead and trigger an alarm, but I'm in the meantime show you what the cuffs look like, the different types of cuffs, how to apply the cuff, and the main difference between the technologies in this pump and the current competitor pump that you were using. So this is your on-off. I'm going to turn it on. I'm going to go ahead and hold the tubing here right now as we talk about the different types of the cuffs here. Now, as you see, I got a calf cuff on my leg right now. Now, just for time's sake, the pump here is on, and right now there's a diamond in the box up here, so it's going through its ramp up period. So I'm going to go ahead and hit single leg application. This will default to one leg, and that one leg, it doesn't matter which leg it is, the pump will figure out which leg it's on, and it'll default to that one leg. Again, this is a standard size calf cuff. This will fit up to 350-pound patient, 19 inches in circumference, and it's made out of brushed nylon material, latex free, and it's very good against patients' skin, especially elderly patients where the skin might be a little, the integrity of the skin is broken down. It'll help with not damaging the skin and causing any type of wounds on the leg. We also have an extra large. It goes up to a 750-pound patient, 23 inches in circumference. We also have a 30-inch with bariatric, goes up to a 1,000-pound patient. We also too have foot cuffs that are universal and thigh cuffs as well, but the hospital has chosen to use the calf cuff because of its efficacy, and it's more efficacious, and it's better tolerated with the patient as well. So as you can see, I'm holding the tubing right now, and for time's sake, I want to set off an alarm so you guys can see what the alarm looks like. There are 3 alarms: single dual leg alarm, call for service alarm, which will basically have a telephone pop up here on the LCD screen, which means the pump is out of service, needs to be replaced. And you also have check tubing, which probably will be the alarm we're going to see here in just a couple of minutes. As you can see, I already had put the calf cuff on. I have it plugged in. The tubing here I have is 8.5 foot long. It is the tubing your floor chose. Also has a call tag on here, which basically shows not to discard the tubing. Please don't throw away the tubing. It is expensive, but we are providing enough tubing to get through the conversion, and that way if it does happen to get thrown away, we can replace it at no cost. But again, this is key to keeping the tubing from getting thrown away. The only time you want to replace the tubing, if the tubing is soiled, has a lot of blood, just a lot of bioburden that just can't be cleaned, and it takes a high risk for infection. So that's the only time you get rid of the tubing. Next, again, as we sit here and wait for the alarm, I wanted to let you know the countermeasure is on here. Also, too, we have a compliance alarm built in this pump. If your floor chooses to use that alarm, we can enable the alarm through Biomed, and what that means is basically if the patient has not had the cuff on longer than 15 minutes, alarm will it'll go to red, and it'll let you know that compliance alarm is on and that the patient does not have the cuffs on, that the nurse needs to come back and get the cuffs on the patients. It's good to increase compliance, because that's the key. If the pump's sitting around not being used, then the likelihood of a clot forming increases dramatically. Again, the good thing about these cuffs, if you have a patient with a smaller calf than I have, oh, stop here, we've got an alarm. This is great. Here we got single dual leg alarm. So what we'll do here, leg alarm. So we're going to look to see what's happening here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the button. I'm going to go ahead and correct the problem, make everything sure it's connected. The pump is going to go back to a ramp up period. I've got one cuff connected right now, so what I'm going to do is hit the single leg application. As I explained, there's a diamond in the box up here. So I'm going to go ahead and hit that right now, and it'll default to that one leg. So one good thing about this technology is asymmetric compression, rapid asymmetric gradual sequential compression is great, because what this does is mimic ambulation. When we're not walking, we're not clogging, and that's what we wanted to do when we designed this, when Aircast designed this pump back in 1993. So what that means for your patients is a couple of things that you can't see, and that's very important. Is one, nitric oxide levels are increased, TPA levels are increased. These are key elements that help dissipate clots and break down clots that are in the legs. A lot of clots form in the distal area behind the valve cusp. This in a rapid inflation, because it mimics ambulation, make sure it clears out behind those valve cusps and those areas where blood gets stagnant and pull up and cause a clot. So that's very important for the patient, and very important that you understand that this is mimicking ambulation. One good thing about this cuff too, you can see here, you can rotate this cuff medial, lateral, all the way interior on the leg. It still has the same effect. We have those on our Dopplers. Your nurse educators, floor managers, all have that information just in case you want to verify it for yourself. Again, we do have thigh cuffs and foot cuffs, but like I said, the hospital has chosen the calf cuff for the standard of care here at the facility. There will be a few surgeons that want to use a foot and thigh, and we will have those available as well. Next, I want to talk to you about what we little in-service guys. We'll leave these all at the nurse's station so you understand what we discussed, the pump, the different icons on the pump, the cuff, trimming of the cuff for patients that have a smaller leg, the foot cuff. Also too, we go over here to the back, it talks about the single dual leg application alarm, and the 3 alarms we just went over. Check tube alarm, call for service alarm, and single dual leg application alarm. Now, one of the biggest things that happens to a lot of nurses is they use the single leg application and they decide to put a second cuff on and doesn't turn the pump off after it's been on longer than 3 minutes to reset the pump. And what happens? You got it. You get an alarm. There you go. So the alarm is very annoying sometimes if they keep continuously happening, but a lot of times alarms are human error. So our goal here is to make sure that you understand that the alarms come on the screen, they tell you what to do, you double click the green button here, you correct the problem, and then you go about doing your business. Again, the battery lasts 4 to 6 hours conservative. It's a lithium-ion battery, so it should be plenty of battery if you're transporting a patient around to another department in the hospital. Again, all pressures are preset. The reason why they're preset, we studied all these at a certain level of millimeters of mercury, that we know what matches dorsal plantar flexion and truly the ambulation effect. So everything is preset pressure-wise. Again, just to reemphasize, always make sure that you put these on snug where you got 2 fingers here that can go into the leg. Elderly patients, they have thin leg, you can trim it or fold it. Again, to leave you one last bit of education. This is our Venaflow patient education. Nurses really enjoy giving these to patient family members as well. It educates them on what a DVT is, why they have the pump on, and what happens if you don't wear the pump. And our goal is to make sure that they wear the pump at nighttime and throughout their continuum stay here at the hospital. One of the key questions I always get is, how long does the patient need to wear the pump? My answer is always, if they're not moving, they need to have the pump on. It's okay to take it off if you're doing a skin assessment every 12 hours for a little bit of period of time, but let's get the pump back on. And I think enabling the compliance alarm will ensure that you get to maximize the compliance that you need here in your facility to even lower the DVT rates from where they are right now. So any questions? Good. Well, that only took 9 minutes, and thank you for your time. I look forward to working with you all, and if you have any questions, feel free to call me anytime. Thank you.